Hey guys, this is Prateek from Mr. Phone, and I recently got my hands on the Amazfit Stratos 3, which is somewhat of a premium smartwatch from the company. Now, if you are looking to buy the smartwatch, then I'm sure that you must have also thought about buying the Huawei Watch GT2e and the Amazfit Trex. So in this video, I'll be comparing all three of these watches across a variety of different categories to see which one is the best fit for you. But guys, before we get on with the video, make sure to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out on any quality tech content that we put out. Now that you've done that, let's get on with the video. Okay, so I will be dividing this video in 5 different categories because I feel that these are the 5 key pillars that everyone looks up to when they're buying a new smartwatch. Now, the first of these is the design, and here each of these 3 variables offers something very unique. Firstly, the Amazfit Trex and the Huawei Watch GT2e are pretty much poles apart, and while the Trex offers a very sporty look with the rugged frame, the GT2e comes across as more of a fashion accessory. Now, the Stratos 3 manages to strike the perfect balance between these two and offers a comfortable lightweight design which can also be dressed up thanks to its shimmering chrome dial. It's also the lightest smartwatch here and tips the scale at just 40 grams. Now, the Huawei Watch GT2e weighs 43 grams without the strap, so I'm guessing it'll be closer to 50 grams with the straps on. Lastly, the Trex is the bulkiest of the lot and weighs 58 grams, which shouldn't be that surprising considering the watch is built to last. What I mean by that is that while all 3 variables are water resistant up to 5 ATM, only the Trex comes with military standard certification and can be used in extreme conditions. It can also take a lot of beating. Now, I wouldn't dare to do that with either the Stratos 3 or the Huawei Watch GT2e, but take my word for it, I have been abusing the Trex left, right and center, and the watch still has 0 scratches on it, which just goes on to show how rugged it is. I should also add that unlike the Huawei Watch GT2e, both the Amazfit watches come with physical buttons to navigate through the UI, which I found really helpful. Physical controls will always be more reliable when compared to gesture-based input, and they'll come in handy during the winters too, when you might have to wear very thick gloves. When it comes to comfort too, the Trex is, in my opinion, the most comfortable one to work out in, which has a lot to do with the watch's plush straps. The Stratos 3 is also very comfortable to wear too, but the physical buttons on the watch protrude outwards more, which make it a little more difficult to use when your wrist is at an angle. So pretty much whenever you're doing push-ups or lifting a barbell. The GT2e, despite offering buttons that sit flush with the chassis, is not a very comfortable watch to work out in solely because of its metal dial, which bit my wrist. So to conclude this section, the Watch GT2e is undoubtedly the best looking wearable of the lot, and it also feels the most premium in the hand. The Amazfit Trex is the most durable watch on offer here, and the Stratos 3 is the middle child here, offering a stylish design which is also very comfortable to work out in. Okay, so the second thing that people look up to when they're buying a brand new smartwatch is the display, and here the Huawei Watch GT2e's 454 by 454 pixel AMOLED display is just a clear winner. It's much sharper as compared to the AMOLED display on the Amazfit Trex, and it's a lot more vibrant as compared to the display you get with the Stratos 3. Now, Huawei clearly knows what's on offer here, which is why they have even bundled some fantastic colorful watch faces with the GT2e, which simply put pop on the phone screen. The display on the Amazfit Trex is really good too, but between these 2 variables, the GT2e's display is definitely more vibrant and sharp. Now, speaking of vibrancy, that's exactly what you won't get with the display on the Stratos 3. See, this is a transflective color screen, so while it's best display to use outdoors, it pales in comparison to the 2 watches when you're using it indoors, as the colors appear a little washed out. The good thing is that this type of screen greatly improves the wearable's battery life, which is why the Stratos 3 can stay off a charger the longest. Now, all the 3 variables also come with an always-on display, which obviously eats into each variable's battery life. Interestingly, using it on the Watch GT2e disables the lift to wake feature, which is a little annoying. I'd also like to point out that the screen on the Huawei Watch GT2e is the largest at 1.39 inches, followed by the Stratos 3's display, which comes in at 1.34 inches, and finally the Trex, which offers a 1.3-inch display. Now, the difference in size is pretty minute here, and I had the same experience using touch-based gestures on all 3 displays. All 3 variables also come with a protective layer of Corning's Gorilla Glass on top, with both the Amazfit offerings featuring Corning's Gorilla Glass version 3. Now, Huawei hasn't confirmed which version of Gorilla Glass protection is on board. However, having used the watch for over 3 weeks, I can confirm that there aren't any scratches on the screen, which is great. Still, durability wise, you will have to be more careful with the screen on the GT2e as it's not protected by the dial. Now on the other hand, the display sits flush inside the dial on both the Amazfit watches, ensuring it's never under direct contact with the surface. So summing up the display section, the GT2e's panel is undoubtedly the most beautiful one on offer here. However, the Stratos 3 screen is much more functional to use outdoors. The Trex makes a solid case with its AMOLED display too, and given the choice between the three, it's not easy to pick one. So if you're more of an outdoorsy person and want excellent battery life out of your wearable, go for the Stratos 3. Else, pick up the GT2e or the Amazfit Trex. Now all three of these wearables cost a pretty penny, so before we actually talk about the fitness features that they offer, let's talk about the smart features that each of these three bring to the table. Now for the most part, you'll find that all three offer a similar set of features, but there are some limitations, so let's talk about that first. Firstly, all three wearables ship with a proprietary OS, and therefore you won't be able to install any third-party applications on these three watches. Now the OS on each of the three watches is fairly lightweight, and therefore you won't notice a lot of stutters whilst navigating through the UI on the three watches. Still, in my opinion, the Stratos 3 offered the best experience jumping in and out of an app, followed by the GT2e and finally the Amazfit Trex. Secondly, while all the wearables come with notification support, so they'll buzz your wrist whenever you get a text, you can't reply to messages on these watches, which to me is the most disappointing aspect of owning any of these. You can also answer phone calls on all three wearables, but again, there's no built-in microphone on either, so you'll have to speak either into your phone or into your headset. Thirdly, and this is only about the Amazfit Trex, this wearable does not come with a built-in storage. So basically what that means is that whenever you're going out for a run or whenever you're going out to exercise, you'll have to carry your phone with you. Unless you don't like to work out with music on, and in that case, what is wrong with you? Okay, there's nothing wrong with you guys. The Watch GT2e and the Stratos 3 both offer built-in storage, with the capacity maxing out at 2 GB on the Amazfit's offering and 4 GB on Huawei's wearable. Now quite interestingly though, the Amazfit Stratos 3 can actually play FLAC music files too, whereas the GT2e can only relay MP3 files. I mean, it doesn't make much of a difference, but it's worth pointing out. Oh, and when it comes to watch faces, all three wearables come with a bunch of different ones, but the GT2e easily has the most watch faces to choose from, and quite frankly, they're also significantly better looking than what you get with the Amazfit watches. It goes without saying that all three wearables we have here today require a companion app to pair with your smartphone too. Now for the GT2e, you'll be using the Huawei Health app, which is available on both Google Play Store and App Store. Now as for the Amazfit watches, you will have to download the Amazfit app, which too is available on both the Play Store and iOS. Now both the apps look really good, and I can't really pick a favorite here. Both showed my stats front and center and allowed me to tweak the in-watch settings without any fuss, so you can't go wrong with either one, honestly. So if you're buying one of these three watches, then chances are that you need a reliable companion to track your fitness, and here neither of these three watches is going to disappoint you. But before I talk about that, let's address the differences. Firstly, unlike the Huawei Watch GT2e and the Amazfit Stratos 3, the Trex doesn't come with an air pressure sensor and therefore doesn't offer a built-in barometer, and it can't track your altitude either. Both the Stratos 3 and the GT2e could do that. Now secondly, only the GT2e offers SpO2 monitoring, which essentially measures the oxygen saturation level in your blood. So if you need this feature, you'll have to stick to Huawei's offering. Furthermore, while all three wearables come with a built-in GPS, the Stratos 3 can use a combination of three different GNSS systems, including GPS plus GLONASS, GPS plus Galileo, and GPS plus Baidu. Now I didn't really notice improved geopositioning accuracy with this, and if anything, the watch actually took a lot longer to latch onto GPS as compared to the GT2e and the Trex, but the feature is there for you to try. I'd also like to point out that of the three wearables I have here today, the Stratos 3 comes with first beat algorithms, which are advanced performance analytics for recovery and exercising. Now in a nutshell, the Stratos 3 can actually help you better your workouts by calculating a TE score or training effect score. Now depending upon how much you're pushing yourself in a workout, you'll get a TE score ranging from 0 to 5, and correspondingly the watch will also tell you how much time your body needs to recover from this particular workout. workout. Now the insights are really solid for athletes, but if you're buying a smartwatch just to do the basics like step tracking and cycling, then all three of them are going to do a phenomenal job. Now starting with the step tracking, I noticed that the GT2e was the most accurate of the lot, and it tracked steps with a very little margin of error and would add maybe 1 or 2 steps to the actual tally. The Trex would always account for 12 to 13 steps more, whereas the Stratos 3 would actually count 7 to 8 steps less. Now the good thing is that all three variables didn't account for ghost steps when I was just moving my hand about. Furthermore, when it comes to mapping runs, then again all three variables are neck and neck and will give you insights on your pace, elevation, average speed and the works. Now the only difference I noticed was when I was cycling, and here the Stratos 3 calculated a lesser distance as compared to the other two watches. So in my 2.85 kilometer mapped route, the GT2e showed me a distance of 2.8 kilometers, the Trex showed me a distance of 2.79 kilometers, and the Stratos 3 mapped a distance of 2.75 kilometers. Again, as was the case with running, you will get your average speed, elevation, maximum speed and different heart rate zones with all the three watches in neatly defined graphs. But as far as the accuracy is concerned, I was most impressed with the GT2e. Now sleep tracking also bore a similar result, and I personally feel that Huawei's True Sleep is among the best in the business, as it also accounts for users' REM sleep. Now both the Amazfit offerings also offered very good sleep tracking data, but just because they did not give me my insights into REM sleep, I would pick the Huawei GT2e here. Now that being said, heart rate tracking was pretty much accurate on all the three trackers, and I even threw in my Fitbit Versa 2 for comparison and got very similar results across the board, so no complaints here. The last thing people look at when they're buying a smartwatch is the battery life, and here the Stratos 3 is a clear winner. Now I've been using the watch for around 5 days and I'm nowhere close to draining it, and that's with the notifications, always on display and continuous heart rate monitoring enabled. Now the best battery life I got out of the Trex was around 6 days, and that's with the same features enabled. Same goes for the GT2e too, which offered a 5 to 6 day battery backup with always on display enabled. Now as for battery life, both the Huawei GT2e and the Amazfit Trex, they both take a little over an hour to charge completely, and as for the Stratos, well, I haven't really drained the watch yet, so I can't really say, but I'll update that in the comment section very soon. So where does that leave us? Well, let's start with the pricing, and here the Amazfit Trex is the most wallet-friendly option at 10,000 rupees, followed by the Huawei Watch GT2e, which costs 12,000 rupees, and then finally we have the Amazfit Stratos 3, which costs 14,000 rupees. So if you can get behind the sporty looks of the Amazfit Trex and you want something that can take a beating, then I'd say go for it. It's a great option. Now the only thing is that you'll have to carry your phone with you at all times so that you can listen to music. Otherwise you won't be able to stream music through the watch itself. And if you're okay with that, then great, because all the fitness features are more or less the same across all three smartwatches, so you won't find anything major missing here. Now between the Amazfit Stratos 3 and the Huawei Watch GT2e, I'd say pick the Amazfit Stratos 3 only if you are going to make use of the advanced training features like TE scores and recovery time, or if you just need a smartwatch which can last a really long time, especially if you're going out on a hike for instance, and you want a wearable that can last you a very long time, then go for the Stratos 3 over the GT2e. Now if you ask me, then I'd pick the Huawei Watch GT2e over both Amazfit offerings, and the simple reason for that is because firstly, this offers, in my experience, the most accurate fitness tracking. It also comes with the best display of the lot, 4 GB of onboard storage, and it's a watch that I can actually wear with casual outfits. Now I know that it's not the most comfortable watch to wear, but given the time, I'm sure I'll get accustomed to its heft, and as would you. But guys, that wraps up my full comparison between the Huawei Watch GT2e, the Amazfit Stratos 3 and the Amazfit Trex. Do let me know in the comments below which of these three watches would you want to buy for yourself, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, do give us a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Until next time, this is Prateek from Mr. Phone signing off.